Hello everybody, welcome. Today I am going to speak to the question, are we there yet? Are we there yet? So I mentioned in the welcome video, which is the last video, welcome to this series is what I meant. This series of videos that in the month of October I'm going to focus on current things that we're all experiencing, that we're going through, and I'm going to bring the bigger picture perspective in because, as I mentioned in that video, I can't imagine a life where I don't bring in the spiritual perspective and not have the benefit of that, the support of that, the relief of that. And not all of you have that. So this is obviously what I do for a living. I help people to connect with the bigger picture aspect of situations they're going through, of patterns in their life, of wherever they find themselves, and they come to me for guidance and clarity. What I'm having at the moment is conversations with people where a lot of their pain comes from the fact that they are reasonably awake and aware, but they're not having that spiritual perspective. They're not having that bigger picture perspective of current situations. And so, although in a sense all of my work is about this, in this month of October, I want to focus specifically on what's going on, what's happening. Let's bring a bigger picture perspective for our relief because, as I always say, if your spiritual beliefs don't bring you relief, you're kind of sort of doing it wrong. So the other day I had a conversation with a friend and she said, when is this going to be done? And it made me think of when kids are in the car and they're saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And of course, it's not just kids that are like that. We're like that. Adults are like that. Ego is like that. And so at the moment, with so much turmoil, you might be aware and awake to the fact that there's something transpiring. There's something at play. Some things are crumbling and falling apart. And you might feel like, okay, well, something's playing out, but is it done? When is it done? Will it be done next March? Will it be done next April? When can my life go back to normal? When can I kind of press play on that pause button that I hit kind of at the start of 2020? And so here's what I want to say to that. Very normal reaction, very normal response, very understandable. We want it done. Is it done? What is being done might be a very individual perspective to you. It doesn't even really matter in the sense that you're still going to be able to get relief from what I will share with you. It's a very ego perspective. And of course, ego is the aspect of our mind that is the least developed. It's the least developed and it thinks it's in control. And for most of us, it is in control because we haven't yet learned how to identify it, how to differentiate ourselves from it, and how to choose differently. So in a lot of our minds, it is in control and it hates anything that's out of its control. It wants to be able to predict exactly what's going to happen. Ego gets its safety, its sense of, okay, everything's all right. I can manage to not be too anxious in a world where I know exactly what's going to happen, where I can predict my own safety within that world and I can predict what I can do when. I can plan, I can organize, I can structure, I can be in control. And of course, 2020 has thrown all of that out of the window. So it doesn't surprise me that there's this feeling, this desire from that aspect of you of like, when is this done? When can I plan again? When can I decide, even what I do want to change in my life or what I want to put in, when can I put all of that into place? So it's understandable. The other thing with ego is that it constantly wants things done in the sense of it always has a goal. Okay, what do I want? I want a car. Great, now I have it, because then I'll feel better. When that's done, I'll feel better. When this is over, when this has passed, when we're all able to move about freely again, when I can travel again, when the kids are back at school again, when I can run my business as normal again, when I can decide where I want to move to, I will feel better. Because ego is always trying to convince us that in a different state, in a different set of circumstances, in a different environment, we will feel better. Which is why it's on a constant quest of buying things, creating things, wanting things. Because when I have that relationship, I'll feel better. When I buy that house, I'll feel better. When I get that car, I'll feel better. Then I'll be done. When I can have kids, then I'll be done. When I can have that role at work, then I'll be done. That's where that when will it be done feeling comes from. And of course, we all know, we've all experienced this. You get the thing and after a while it wears off. And then ego just desires something else and convinces you, well, it wasn't as good because. And you don't feel the way you thought you would because. So what is happening in the world is it's an opportunity for a complete restructure that is going to be based not on our ego selves, which it has been, right? So for thousands of years, it's been going in one way. It's been heading in a certain trajectory, and certainly for the last however many decades, it has been more and more structured to our ego. What do you want? What do you need? Buy it on credit. Why wait? Have it instantly. Transform yourself. Even the whole self-help industry, a lot of the spiritual industry as such is actually talking to your ego. When you do this course, you will feel like this. When you achieve this, you will feel like this. It's this constant sort of, when will it be done? Then I will be done. It will be done. And if you really feel into your heart, in your own life, you know that you've never been done. And that's not about you not being enough. That is not speaking to your sense of not enough. That's not saying you're not done because you haven't achieved what you should have, or you're not done because you don't own as much as you should, or you haven't achieved your career goals, or you don't look the way you could if you were done. None of that is what I'm saying. When clients come to me and we start working together, and then sometimes things get triggered after they've done a lot of work on it, and they'll say to me, I thought I was done. It's the same thing. I thought I was done. This obsession with done, let's get rid of it. Because from the spiritual perspective, from the bigger picture, from the higher perspective, from your wiser self, and from the wisdom, the greater wisdom, the collective wisdom, there is no done. There is a constant evolution. Now, I don't want you to feel disheartened by me saying there is no done. I want you to feel heartened by it. I want you to start to get into a sense of there is an ever-expandingness. There is an ever-expandingness. There is an ever-expansion. There is a deeper. So when clients say to me, I thought I was done, I always remind them that you're at another level. You're at another layer. Now, if we were playing a video game, you would get that buzz, you would get that excitement of being at the next level. You would go, wow, I've achieved it, I'm at the next level. I would love if you could apply the same mindset, the same process to, I'm at a deeper part of this. Anybody who's dealt with grief, everybody has experienced grief. And it is the greatest teacher of that. There are layers to it. Forgiveness, there are layers to it. You do a bit, you get relief. You move, you live life, things happen. Whoop, trigger, opportunity, you go to the next level. You do the work, and again. And this is what we're doing as a planet. So what I really want you to know is your life is not on hold. And when you say, are we there yet? I want you to know we're the vehicle. We aren't the passenger saying, well, is it done? Have they done it? Is it achieved? Is it cleared? Is it, even if you're looking at this from a spiritual perspective and you're saying, okay, we are evolving from a planet of fear to a planet of love. If you are saying we are going from 3D to 5D, we are increasing in our consciousness, we are expanding our level of compassion, our capacity to love. There is more light flooding onto the planet. You might even be able to put it into those words, but you might still feel like, well, is it done? You are part of the vehicle, and we will be able to move to the next layer, the next level, once you're thriving here. This is the other thing I said to a friend yesterday. I said, when you can thrive in this environment, when enough of us can thrive in this current environment, we will tip the scales, and then it'll be brighter, and then there'll be more light. Does that mean there'll be nothing going on? No, there'll still be things happening. We'll still navigate, we'll still be triggered, things will still come up, and we'll be at the next level. We'll be at the next level. But I want you to know there is no done. Just like in your personal life, there is no done. Does that mean it's never-ending work? I don't want you to use the word work in a negative connotation. If you're thinking, does it mean there's never-ending drudgery? There's never-ending slugging it out? There's never-ending having to swim amongst the pond scum? No, that's not true. But there is never-ending opportunity for expansion. There is a never-ending opportunity for relief, more relief, more relief, more relief, more relief. As you apply, because to me, to not live life with a spiritual perspective, now please know that, I can forget it in the moment as much as the next person. This is what life is for. We're forgetting. We come here, we forget who we are, and then it's a remembering of who we are. It's a remembering our power and what we have access to. But to me, to leave the spiritual out completely, this is why when I first started as a kinesiologist, I didn't bring a lot of the spiritual in. Although I've always lived it, I was kind of like, it wasn't an aspect of what we studied, how much. I knew I would bring it in, of course, but I didn't bring it in as much as I do now. Now I can't leave it out. I simply cannot leave it out of any sentence that ever comes out of my mouth. And that's not to say I'm constantly talking about God, or I'm dismissing of people's pain. What I'm doing is I'm saying, for my own self, for my perspective of the world, to live without the spiritual aspect of us and of this planet and of what is available to us, to me, is like living with one hand. Trying to do everything with just one hand and then realizing, oh my God, I actually have another hand, and look how much easier this makes everything. Life is not necessarily easy, and we will continue to have things we need to work through and transform, and processes that we have to go through individually and collectively, but nothing is really on hold for you. It's just your life looks differently. Maybe a lot of the external things, maybe a lot of the material things have been taken away. I'm not making light of people who are really at a great struggle right now, financially, emotionally, mentally. If you are fortunate enough that you have a roof over your head and you have food, then please know that maybe some of the things that have gone were actually standing in your way from actually moving, processing, expanding, doing the actual thing you're here to do. Evolve. Okay, so the whole planet has kind of, for a minute, it's kind of like skidded to a halt. And now we're like, okay, when does it start again? Actually, it kind of started in that moment. That's when we stopped enough to get the real stuff done, because we were lost. We were running in crazy. We were stuck in insane. And this is our opportunity to wake up out of the insane and realize it's never done. There is no done. Nobody can say, right, by April next year, everything will be fine. All the shops will be open. Planes will be up in the sky and you'll be on holiday at the beach. We don't know. We don't know. And even if we are, it might look completely different. And even if we are, you might feel completely different. And even if we are, you might have chosen it today, but you won't choose it then. We don't know. Living, learning to be in our power within the uncertainty, feeling stable and having that foundation within, no matter what the environment looks like, that is real freedom. That is how we claim our sovereignty. That is how we learn to be so okay in whatever crazy presents itself out there, in whatever is going on out there, that we don't feel like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Is it done? Have the people who do the thing done the thing? Have they cleared the thing? Have they arrested the people? Is the thing done? Whatever you're hearing, whatever your take on this is, it doesn't even matter. Because the process is always the same. This is the beauty of spiritual principles. It doesn't even matter because the process is the same, the application is the same. And when done right, and what I mean by that is when applied with the right intention and from your wiser self and not your little frightened, anxious, control freak ego, when applied from your higher self, the relief that it will bring. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are, it doesn't matter what the situation is, you will get the benefit. You will be able to apply it and you'll be reminded of who you are. And you will be reminded of there is no done, and that's not a bad thing because we're ever evolving, we're ever expanding, and so is the planet. And that's the process that we're in. I hope this helps you. I am going to do more of these videos throughout the month of October where I'm going to highlight to you conversations I've had with people, certain things that maybe somebody has said, and I'm going to bring this perspective to it, this element to it. If you have a particular one that you would like me to talk about, just put it in the comments. I would love you to like this video if you found it helpful. I would love you to tell your friends about this channel if you think they will find it helpful, and your comments are always welcome. Much love to you.